Welcome back for another episode of Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go. Find us on facebook.com/superfunpodcast, twitter.com/superfunpodcast, patreon.com/superfunpodcast, Instagram at superfunpodcastgo, iTunes at Superfun Game Review Podcast Go. Thanks and enjoy the show.
Welcome back to another exciting adventure of Super...
Jesus. It's an adventure.
It's an adventure.
I'm going on an adventure.
All right. We're going on an adventure, Harry.
I want to see mountains again, Gandalf. Mountains.
You're an adventurer, Harry.
Harry, you are a wizard.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Hagrid, you're pushing me over the fucking line.
Ready? Are you ready? I was pursing my lips. Yes, I was ready. You press your lips for a lot of things. Like dick.
Spanish kiss.
Spanish kiss. It's the pussy. The pussy's got me all heated. The pussy has enveloped you. You should have... I feel so moist.
You should have Red Bull before every episode. Oh, you fucking nasty ass.
Your face is so red. Mine? Both of your faces are so red.
dry for you.
Make it so dry for you.
Do this thing with my hands.
Harry, look at me. Harry, look at me. Oh, God. I got to get off.
Why didn't we just go live with this show? Why don't we have it like live and in real life on Twitch, right? Why not?
Yeah, because we would be banned in minutes. All right.
Sponsored by Pussy.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Super Fun Game Review Podcast. Go!
Oh, come on. Why did we do the variants with exciting? Why isn't it just welcome to Super Fun?
I was trying to throw some excitement in, and literally I threw the word excitement into the sentence.
Harry,
We're
you said
excited.
exciting, not excitement. Welcome to Excitement Super Fun Podcast.
All right, fine. I'll do a plain old intro.
Oh, good. This will be good.
Oh, sure.
This definitely won't cause us to laugh. Go ahead.
Welcome back to another episode of Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go.
What did you say? You said another exciting episode of a Super Fun Game Review Podcast.
What? No.
You're like, welcome back to another exciting episode of Super
didn't
Fun
say
Game Review Podcast.
I just said of an ep.
It's okay. It's okay. Whenever we have a deadline or a goal or whatever,
I know, we just
fuck
blow it out of the fucking water.
Just fuck it.
All right.
Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go. Just cut out all the bullshit.
Are you kidding? Come on.
Welcome back to Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go. To my left this evening, I have Mr. Steve.
What are you doing?
Ralph.
Additional scans required.
Mr. Clark.
I used the escape pod.
And I will be your host this evening, Harry. Bioshock in space!
In space!
If you haven't guessed it, we are talking about Prey this evening.
Wait, are you the predator or are you the prey?
Whoa. Mind fucking blown.
I am the prayer.
Oh, God. Really? Did you have to reference that?
Yes. It's from a Tommy Wiseau video, for those of you who don't know. Anyway, continue.
So why don't we just, real quickly, dive into our initial impressions, and then we have some interesting topics of conversation this evening. So, Steve, why don't you kick it off? What's your initial impression?
I'll kick it. Dun, dun. I only heard of the game. I really didn't know much about the game at all, really. And after reading a little bit about it when it was brought to the table, I don't want to say I was surprised, but I found it quite enjoyable.
Cool. Ralph.
Okay, I'm going to do a slight shift here. Normally, when we do the initial impressions, I talk about like my history with the game or what have you. I just want to say that for this one, for Prey, my initial impression was that like the way the beginning of the game starts and the way it sets you up and then how it breaks all that, like I was very impressed with about the first 2 hours of the game. I just wanted to say, like, that's as my initial impression playing it, that I was very interested in the way it was set up, how it was set up, the Groundhog Day kind of feel, and also just the way that they introduced the the title sequence with the helicopter. I thought that there was a lot of creativity going into the beginning of the game. Not to say that it's not there throughout, but as my initial impression, I was very impressed, and I was like, wow, why have I not heard more about this game? Why was it $20 used at the time that I bought it? Like, this game should be more well known.
Clark.
Initially, when I started playing this game, like Ralph, I was super impressed with just how the game really like starts and how you're introduced into the world and things like that. Before the game was released, I like had heard about it, and right at the time that it came out, I had some friends that were playing it, and they were all raving about it. They hadn't gotten through the game yet. All in all, like I thought it was like I was pretty hyped to dig in and start playing.
All right, I'm going to keep my initial impression short and sweet, like that pussy drink.
You did it. You fucked the podcast now.
That's it. We're done.
I fucked the podcast?
Pull the plug.
podcast.
Pull the plug.
Now it's fair game to reference throughout the rest of the podcast.
Fair enough.
No. Oh my God.
Oh
So I'm
my
going to
God.
end up editing this thing and have to cut every pussy reference.
I'm going to edit this episode.
You say that, but we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what the future could hold.
Pussy?
So, I'll be honest. Before I started playing this game, I expected a Fear-like game.
You mean like Fear?
Fear, yeah, the shooter.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was going to be a very linear shooter with a lot of jump scares. That is not what I got. I mean, we'll get into the...
Well, if you think about it.
I
agree. Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
it's a lot different than what I was expecting. I thought it was just going to be like no options, like just going down like a long hallway.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, sorry.
With very planned opportunities to jump scare you. I think it was a little different than
So like Silent Hill, pretty much.
You were looking at like a Call of Duty in space, is what you were thinking.
Almost.
Okay.
But I was comparing it to Fear because that had just very linear gameplay with very specific scares throughout the game. And moving on to game development.
Game development.
All right, so I got a lot of notes tonight, guys. Just fair warning, I'm going to be owning the fuck out of this episode.
You don't have to warn us of that. Go right ahead.
Well,
Just
I'm
go for
warning
it.
the listeners as well. So I hope you love my voice because you're going to hear it all night. All right, so let's hit some bullet points here. Developed by Arcane Studios, published by Bethesda.
Bethesda.
Bethesda?
Bethesda.
I don't think I've ever heard of them before.
Yeah,
Who's Bethesda?
Who's Bethesda, Harry?
I think we just released an episode produced by them.
That was Bethesda.
Oh,
yeah,
Duck
that was
Dynasty?
Bethesda.
Bethesda, Harry. Check your notes. Are you sure you wrote that down right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Bethesda.
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 And
Bethesda.
ZeniMax Studios.
Pheasants in Studios.
Pheasants.
Bethesda in Studios.
Man, energy drinks do weird things to Ralph. I kind of dig
Yeah.
this. You should drink one of those every time. Bob should get you a case of pussy.
Oh my God.
You'd be knees
Bob,
deep in pussy.
This truck just came. They told me to sign, and I did. And now I have a pallet of
Pussy.
pussy energy drink. I don't know what to do. I can't
He
move
doesn't
it.
want to just say pussy. He just wants to say pussy energy drink.
He wants to beat around the bush.
Technically, I guess I am beating around the bush. Wow. Going straight to hell.
Just take a sip of your pussy there. Oh, there you go.
Put it in your mouth.
So anyway, released May 5th, 2017. So there was a Prey game developed years before.
Yes.
And then there was a Prey 2 kind of lost in development. The plane was
Development
scrapped on that. And then it was picked up by Arcane Studios. And they basically scrapped, like, this is almost like a reboot with like no ties to the older games. And you can actually still find footage online of what Prey 2 was going to be, and it was going to be a much faster paced first person like shooter of a game.
Fear.
Almost. But it looked a little wonky.
Okay.
The videos I watched, it didn't look like a great game.
Well, you know, those development videos, they don't have any of the final
Oh
touches
yeah,
on the
of
game.
course. It would have been a completely different experience.
Anybody here play the original Prey? Because I didn't, and I don't know anything about it.
No.
I think it was a little bit more on the horror end.
Yeah.
Because I did a little bit of research. Like I thinking of that game, you should think more survival horror.
Okay.
When it comes to that.
So like Silent Hill.
I don't think that. I don't know. I
I'm
haven't
just
played
teasing
it.
you.
So.
I'm just teasing you. Come on.
So one of the big premises for this game, they wanted multiple ways to accomplish puzzles. For example, let's talk about getting through a locked door, and we'll talk about this more in gameplay. But you can get a password for that door. You can force it open. You can crawl through a vent, and
You can hack it.
yeah, and you can hack the panel. So I mean, there's like multiple ways to accomplish that one objective. They didn't want you to have to play it a very specific way. You can kind of tailor it to your play style, and that was like a big thing that they centralized their development around.
I did like
They
the
took-
variety.
They took the Deus Ex approach.
Yes. What Clark said.
Yep.
Wow. Now that you say that,
There
it
are a
really,
lot-
even the
there are-
computer terminals, like
yes,
it's
there's
straight.
tons of similarities. Like this is really
Jeez.
a rework of Deus Ex with some horror elements instead of the whole Android element of Deus Ex.
Well, hell, now that you put Deus Ex into the mix, because I was going to go hard Bioshock, System Shock. That's what it was an homage to, or that's what they were shooting for. But I didn't even think about the computer terminals like in Human Revolution.
Oh,
At least,
yeah,
like the one that I played,
it's-
where you read emails and hack and wow.
So this game was influenced by The Matrix, which I definitely can see.
What's the Matrix?
Wait, what about the
Yeah, where do you see
Where do you see the Matrix?
the Matrix in the game?
Did you guys unlock the slow motion ability?
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like there's the
Bullet
shooting
time?
and the bullet time. I know it's not an original concept.
Okay,
but
all
but
right.
Okay.
I think The Matrix is the first one to lay that groundwork, and then you see it pop up in a lot of games.
Then Max Payne, and then from there everybody.
But I think they still have to credit Matrix as they didn't
Yeah.
say it was inspired by Max Payne or anything. It would
Yeah.
be, you know what I mean? Have you guys seen the movie Moon?
Yes,
no.
That was another.
I see that too. Yep, especially
That's
with
a dark movie.
with the AI robots that just kind of
Moon.
yeah. We're not going to spoil Moon for anybody listening or for you guys. It has
what's his name?
Christopher Walken,
No, in Iron Man 2, who was like
Don
not
Cheadle,
yes, Don Cheadle is in Iron Man 2, but no, the other guy
Mickey Rourke,
and Mickey Rourke. The is it Hammer Industries?
Jeff Bridges,
No, that's the first Iron Man. He's
Don Cheadle,
oh my god.
You just keep saying Don Cheadle.
Anyway,
Don
it's,
Cheadle.
Moon is a very good science fiction.
So who's in it?
film.
Ralph.
Well, actually, ironically, I think Kevin Spacey is the voice of one of the robots.
Yes, I believe he is.
He is. So, the Moon technically goes on my dark shelf of movies I can't watch anymore.
Dark Shelf.
The movies I can't watch anymore, like Seven and L.A. Confidential. These movies that I love, but they're
Baby
tainted.
Driver. Sam Rockwell.
Yes, Sam fucking Rockwell.
Who the fuck is Sam Rockwell?
You know
he
if you
was
saw
in
his face.
he was in Moon.
He was in Iron. Oh shit! He was in Iron Man 2.
What else?
Don Cheadle. Started that movie with Don Cheadle.
Robert Downey Jr.
Sorry, the
No,
last.
what else was Sam Rockwell in?
He was in the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Don't ask me why I know that.
Who was he?
He has
You're
a
not
very
naming
small
characters.
part. I know I'm not.
It's like the typical association.
Okay, wait. In Galaxy Quest, have you seen that?
Yeah.
Okay, Galaxy Quest. The guy that he's like a red shirt and he died on like episode 81 or whatever.
Never give up. Never surrender. So the last movie that influenced this game was Starship Troopers.
Blasting aliens.
So, okay, this is going to kind of tie into the story, which I want to kind of intro when we get to the story segment. But the alternate timeline that they developed from the direction, or when they first started developing it, it took them a year to flesh out how they wanted to this alternate storyline to play out.
So wait a minute. The Prey 2, the sequel, it was in development hell, and then it was bought by Bethesda, who reworked
Arcane
it
Studios.
from Arcane. I'm sorry, Bethesda published it. Arcane got a hold of it, and then they took some elements and they just reworked it from the ground up and started fresh.
Well, they scrapped.
They scrapped everything.
Scrapped
Okay,
everything.
They scrapped
yeah.
everything, and then you're saying it took an extra year to work on.
So it took them a year to develop their alternate storyline. Essentially, was what I was getting at. Which I'm going to tie into story. Do you guys have any other little tidbits for game development?
No, let's glue our way into story.
Yeah. Glue cannon. Let's leave that sticky white mess all over the hallway.
Story.
So imagine a world where the assassination attempt on John F. Kennedy fails. With Kennedy alive, more funding is put into the space program, accelerating the space race. Sputnik 1 comes into contact with an alien race. The U.S. and USSR team up to defeat the race named Typhon and capture specimens to be studied. With the public unaware, the two nations build a space station orbiting the moon to study the species. Fast forward to the year 2035, Typhon studies have led to giant leaps in neuroscience, and new abilities are manufactured in the form of neuromods. TranStar, the owners of the technology, make fortunes selling the neuromods to the elite wealthy on Earth. So I just wanted to set the groundwork for the discussion because I feel like some of those details could have been overlooked. So you need to keep in mind that this is an alternate reality, essentially.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I remember right, in the lobby, there's just one room where it gives you a brief history. And that's the kind of thing that, if I'm in a time crunch to play a game or I'm not that invested, I'll just skip it altogether. But I saw the portrait of JFK with graying hair, and I was very interested to see what it was that was going on here and with this room. And then it gives you, like, pictures, almost like, obviously going to the Smithsonian or something to briefly give you the entire history of the space station. And anything where things change with the presidents, I find interesting history-wise. Like in Watchmen, Nixon's president for he's president for like 5 terms or something like that. He's president in 1985 when Watchmen takes place. It's just interesting to me to see like what could have changed and how things are different. So the alternate history where JFK's assassination attempt didn't happen, why it might seem like, oh, that's an easy like story point because everybody knows about the assassination of JFK. Just to me, it was very fascinating that, okay, we're going all the way back to JFK to put the groundwork for this station to be here. And then didn't he live to like 2010 or something like that? Like he had this really long lifespan, I guess, because of the science that they took from the symbiotes.
At least the one thing to really take away from all of this is that the story takes off from a big what if and just gives you something completely not really based on, obviously not based on what happened, because we're not going to have a giant space station orbiting the moon, but kind of gives you a different look of where things could have gone.
I just find it very interesting the way that they put this foundation in for the space. They could have just set the game in 2022 or something.
It could have still been 20.
One would. They didn't have to make any kind of connection like that. I found that to be a very interesting story point that they threw in there.
It was unnecessary, but I think there's a lot of elements to the story in this game that I find like really intriguing. That like it's like very minute details. Like when we get into some of the conversations between characters, like a lot of these people are, spoiler alert, dead on this space station, but yet I'm invested in little snippets of their life.
I did want to say, even though I mentioned this in my initial impression, but I spent a lot of time in my room, like that initial playthrough, and I think everybody does. You want to walk around and see what's interactive, what isn't. You want to get the conventions of the game set, and that's sort of what that room is. It's like the tutorial. And then when you go and you do the test, I'm like, okay, I'm wondering how this test is going to come into this, and immediately I'm thinking of Until Dawn when we're taking the test. I'm like, okay, these choices are going to have some way it's going to impact the gameplay. So okay, let me answer these questions as I would. Not like, oh, I'm going to play as a dark character and I'm going to push the fat man in front of the train or do nothing. Like, so you do the first run and then don't you you pass out or something goes wrong with the test and you wake up and it's the same exact day.
You get gassed.
It's the same exact day.
Hold on, can we just talk about that test real quick?
Yeah.
Like the test room where they ask you to hide.
Yeah.
Plain sight. Where did you guys hide in the room?
Behind the chair.
I hid behind the chair as well.
Yep.
Did you hide behind the chair?
I don't think I think I failed every single test.
Harry picked up the chair and threw it at
I think I stood in. I think I was trying to creep up to the left of the window.
Oh.
And they were like, kind of, we can still see you.
They're like, that's interesting.
See, when you hide behind the chair, they're like, is he really hiding behind the chair? Some synapse must not be firing off. And when they said that, that is my first inkling into me knowing the end of the game. Like one of the twists of the end of the game before.
Okay.
I was like, how do they know that his fucking synapse aren't fucking firing off? Like, that's a really advanced thing to know. Like, the neuromods are one thing, but he's testing for the neuromods. Something was up. I knew before then something was going weird.
Yeah, and I was actually wondering, like, are there... I felt like I was actually, like, failing the game at that point. Like, I didn't know you could just kind of skip through. Like, they actually wanted you to learn some kind of, like, key feature to the game here.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'm hitting the wrong button or something like that. Like, it started to make me doubt what I was supposed to be doing in the game.
Also, that scene at the end where you do get gassed is fantastic. It scared the shit out of me. The coffee cup.
Oh, the coffee cup. Yes.
Yeah. So.
And I knew that element going into the game.
I didn't know how the Typhons disguise themselves. I thought it was just going to be creatures. So I snapped to the actual terminal. So it's down. I'm not seeing anything. And then I hear him just pick up his coffee mug, and he's like, oh, I thought I had coffee in this. And I clicked up and looked just as the Typhon started attacking him.
Oh, God.
Oh, gotcha.
It was awesome. Great part. It's probably one of my favorite like little moments in the game.
But
other than the really fucked up thing that I did later, but we'll talk about that.
Okay, we'll get there. For this generation, so far for the games that I've played, I really feel like this one starts so strong. I really like how the conventions are set. You have that beautiful view, and then within half an hour, you realize that it's all a sham and it's just glass that you can break and go through. It really pulled me in. And I think they should be commended for, the first 2 hours of the game, easily. Not that the rest is bad, but I'm just saying, the immersion and the way that it works, awesome.
There's one big thing I wanted to talk about, but this ties into a lot of facets of the game.
All right.
So it's kind of hard to just talk about one and keep it separated from the other.
Okay, talk about what you want, and we'll worry about the
Yeah.
categories later.
Well, I'm just warning you that I'm going to let me briefly touch on the different things, and then we can just dive in.
Go.
It's going to be 20 minutes of him giving directions for what he's about to say.
Yeah.
And like...
So there's an element to the game that you find out very early on that your mind is wiped from removal of neuromods.
Yep.
To the point where you were at before you put that neuromod in, right?
Yes. Yeah. So she doesn't have any memory, which allows you to kind of immerse yourself in the storyline, trying
Your
to
character.
She?
It could be she or
Did you
he.
go female?
I went female with
I went
this.
male.
I
Is
went
there
male.
any gameplay?
None.
None.
No.
She doesn't have
None.
more psi, less.
No.
No, and
None.
what's
Health or
interesting is you find that you have a girlfriend later in the game
Yeah.
that it made my character, I guess, gay.
Wait a minute. So you weren't Alex? Fuck. What the hell?
Morgan.
I was
You're
Morgan.
Morgan, yeah.
I'm also Morgan. It's a unisex name.
It is.
Okay, never mind. Because I know that there was also a couple that I heard all her audio logs where it was a
Daniel Show.
Daniel Show and Abigail Faye.
okay.
Frey?
For some reason
Danielle. We both said Daniel.
Yeah, Danielle Show and Abigail Faye.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you had assumed the role of one of those characters is what you meant.
No.
Never mind.
Sorry, so you lose your memory, so you're immersed in this environment and basically discovering it for the first time with the character, essentially.
Mhm.
Which is a good way to, instead of like playing that third-person role where you've all seen it in games where it's like, oh yeah, that's right, about that thing, where they like play dumb to kind of...
Exposition dump.
Yeah, essentially. So because of the memory loss, during her periods of time, like the way she would, how do I put this? So she created these robots, or what were they called?
Operators.
Operators.
Yep.
Thank you.
Operator.
There was a couple times where she
It
relayed.
throws me off every time you say she, because I played it with a guy.
So maybe.
They. Just
Morgan?
go-
So
they.
Morgan
Yeah.
created
Yeah, there you go.
these operators. I'll try to focus
There you
on
go.
that. The weird thing is, so removing these neuromods, it like resets a person, but it could also change their personality. Like it's almost like rebooting a computer. It never functioned. Like if you do it so many
It's like
times,
a backup.
essentially.
It's weird, yeah. A
So
backup for the brain.
So she was in different mental states, and she made these.
Who was?
Morgan.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Morgan
Because you
was.
kept saying she.
Sorry. So Morgan was in these different mental states, and oh man, I'm gonna try to dodge it now.
And she.
She.
Just say they. You could say they instead of she or he.
Say my Morgan.
Yeah, my
Morgan.
Morgan. My Morgan.
My Morgan.
Where the fuck did that come from?
So you encounter 3 different operators throughout the game,
Operator.
which reflects Morgan's mental state at the time when they...
Oh, like January, December. Is
and
there another
October.
one? October.
October, January, and December. They also lead you to different objectives in the game to complete.
I forget October. I don't think I met October.
October...
What did October do?
October,
Yes.
October is only briefly mentioned.
Oh, okay.
It's like in
all
an
right.
email thing that had a completely different mental state. It's like, but it makes you think, and a lot of people argue this online, and it could have been like a DLC opportunity. Like there could potentially be 12 different operators. You think in January all the way through December that maybe he,
Oh, just do that again.
Morgan.
she.
No. Just,
I'm probably just going to keep saying she just to keep conversation flowing. My apologies.
I'm just going to say who every time.
I'm just going to say operator every time.
So with the personality reset, it also has the ability, like what I was actually thinking about Mass Effect the other day. You can kind of go Renegade or Paragon, like a good versus evil. Your
Okay.
decisions are totally up in the air because you're not really playing into one personality. You're kind of, who knows who the real Morgan is at this point,
Do you mean like if you're empathetic or not?
essentially.
Okay.
And your brother later in the game also kind of reflects on that. Like, I don't even know if you're the true Morgan anymore. You're
I
not
see
the
someone that looks like Morgan. It's exact words.
Oh, right.
I see someone that looks like Morgan, but I don't know if that's them.
There's elements to the game where you can kind of do a good or evil decision. There's quite a few points in the game. And I wanted to maybe touch on those real quick and then see what you guys
Okay.
decided to do at those points. The first one you encounter is there's a man in a glass case.
There's a man in a case.
And he's a prisoner, and you can even upload his file to see what his crimes were. But I don't even know if he was found guilty. I think that he could have just been charged. I don't know what the details were.
Right.
So I remember because it's in the room that's next to it. You have to actually like break into that room, and then you can look at the file.
I think it was on the
him.
computer, right in front of the glass case.
Right, but that only has a little bit. The actual personnel transfer file is in the room that's next to it, and it goes through like all of his stuff. He was found guilty of pretty much like sexual assault on Earth, and he served his time, and then he ended up there. Someone found out about it via an email, and they locked him up.
So you find him in this test chamber, essentially. And they
you can
found
expose him or not.
you can expose him to a mimic or release him from the case. And the benefit of exposing him to the mimic, it almost like harvests his brain into some kind of neuromod or transplant, or you get some kind of upgrade
Okay.
by letting the mimic kill him and then killing the specimen. Then you can collect a reward. So what did you guys do there?
I let him out, and he let me into the weapons cache.
Ditto.
I unleashed the mimic.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, tell us. How did that-
Renegade motherfucker.
I don't know. It's like whenever there was an encounter with most other characters. Like I think I really set the way I was playing the game from the very beginning. Where you saw there was the I forget what his name was, but it's very early on in the game where there's someone already like under the influence of the mimic.
That person could have been under the influence of a telepath. There was a creature that basically mind controlled.
Was he locked up in like a pad cell?
Yeah, something like that. I
Ah.
remember there was like a code in there, and I didn't know if there was any way to really help him, so I basically just opened the door and killed him right away, and then thought,
So you helped him in a way.
in a way, it's like maybe there was a different way I could do that.
Well, there's no coming back from the mind control.
No,
No.
There
If
is.
you
If you do the-
if you kill the telepath, but the person never wakes up from it, they are just
Unconscious.
unconscious, and then they're gone when you come back like a while later.
Isn't there a
They still count as being saved though. Like if
Yeah.
you check the terminal, it says like safe, or
Yeah,
they'll still have an alive status.
no, I murdered a lot of things. I went pretty bad in this one. I was just angry at the world for.
it's good you
wiping
were
my mind.
efficient.
Yeah.
God.
So while we're on the topic of choices, I would like to talk about one specifically that stuck with me. I guess it's the hangar, and there's like the whole bastion of people that are safe. And they're like, oh, well, if you go do this, this, and this, we'll open the door for you, and then we'll probably be able to fight those things off. And I was like, huh, what's this terminal? Oh, look, I have enough neuromods to unlock it. Put the neuromods in my head to get the hacking up, opened the fucking door, and just let all the fucking...
Oh my God.
I let them all fucking die. And was like, cool, this is a perfect diversion, and ran.
Jesus.
I didn't kill any of them.
Yeah.
I literally just let them all die.
I actually got an achievement for not letting any of them die. I set up 8 turrets. 8 fucking turrets.
Jeez.
Wow.
All I had to do was fire one shotgun shot, and everything else just got obliterated.
Boom.
Yeah, I saved myself almost a 45-minute errand, though.
Yeah, it added some time into the game.
Yeah, it did.
Did you guys save Dio Igwe? The guy who was stuck in the... What?
Dude. Okay, so I didn't understand what I needed to do there.
Oh, boy, he died.
Oh, he did. I opened the
Oh.
fucking thing.
So-
I opened the door. I
So-
hacked the door open.
So just to clarify, he was in a cargo container that got launched out into space.
Yeah.
And he locked himself in, I guess, to escape immediate threat, but he had minimal oxygen in there.
Yeah, and like the control malfunctioned and he couldn't function. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I have to go in and fix the control. I thought I had to open the door and go in and fix the control. And he's like, no, what are you doing, you idiot? As I'm like pressing the button and I'm like, uh-oh.
Oops.
And it just literally just opened up and you just see him go and just start doing backflips after
So
he's
did
choking.
he not have a suit on?
No.
So that makes me wonder, like a cargo container metal out there, I don't think it had insulation. You think he would have just froze anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, he might have had a suit on, but it didn't have the oxygen in it. I'm not really sure. But I know that when you open up the fucking cargo thing, he just dead. He dies instantly.
Oh, he did.
He dead.
DED.
So it actually, he unlocks other quests later in the game, so you didn't even do those.
Whoops.
Nope.
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 You just start over.
Oh.
Nope.
Okay, did you get to the captain's the captain's control area? And there's a countdown on a computer. A ship has launched from Talos 1 and is about to land on Earth.
Oh shit! I didn't get there.
Yeah, I didn't get there
No.
either.
So there's this one. So you're still under the impression. Well, depending. Oh, so this kind of ties back into: did you follow November or I'm sorry, January or December?
Right.
Because one of them is destroy the base at all costs to prevent any kind of aliens.
That's January, right?
Yes, getting to Earth. So it's like all about destroy the base. December is all about escaping the base. Just get the hell out of there and escape
As quickly as possible. Yeah.
Exactly.
I followed December, by the way.
Fair enough.
I did not.
I played almost all of this game. There's a part where you have to really start deciding which ending you want because you need to you need to do some steps for it. At that point, I decided that I wanted to see what escaping was like. I escaped. I got confirmation for myself, at least, that I knew what the ending of the game was going to be, and decided to look up the other 2 endings online. And was like, I'm not going to spend any more time with this game.
Fair enough. So
Yeah.
cool note. So when you found December, because you have to kind of do that little storyline to get the key code and everything.
Yeah.
You found a destroyed December, correct?
Yes.
It's because January went and
ki-
destroyed
It
December.
kills him, yeah.
Now, fun little fact. The first time you see January, if you destroy that operator, it never has a chance to go destroy December. December will be the main operator contacting you from that point forward.
What?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So then he'll still guide you to the end of the game, or he'll guide
December
you to
will
the-
guide you to the
escape
pod.
the escape pod.
Holy shit!
Damn.
It changes the whole way the game plays out.
Interesting. I wonder.
I
if
thought
you
that
get
was
a-
like such a cool thing when I read that.
I wonder if you get a different ending. I wonder if you.
I
Get,
think you still get that ending.
you don't get the
but you
the
get-
credits.
You probably even get that. I think you just have different dialogue throughout the entirety of the game.
Huh. That's interesting.
I thought that was really cool when I read that.
That is really neat.
But sorry, the one
Early
thing I was tying
choice.
back into. So, if you're following January's objectives, destroying the base at all costs, she's urging you essentially blow up that ship because basically on the screen it's counting down for like 2 minutes, and it says like we'll reach Earth's atmosphere in X amount of time. There is a button next to it, basically labeled self-destruct button. You can decide to destroy that capsule of people that have made it off the ship.
Oh wow, because I guess you don't have any idea whether or not they're infected or infected for lack
Yeah,
of a
because
better
all they
term.
said is just one cell from this alien species, but
Yeah.
and then you're trying to wonder like, did they launch before the outbreak happened? Like where? Like how soon after the outbreak did they? You know what I mean? Like
Can you contact? I would feel
I
like
guess
you would be
not.
able to
cannot
contact
contact them. I know.
What'd you do?
You push the button.
I did not. I let him go. I went on. You know how you play? Like you're the angel.
Yeah.
I got that achievement. I saved
you?
basically everybody.
But did you destroy the Earth?
Welcome to Earth.
Well, we'll
Oh,
talk about
never
the
mind.
ending
Never
when-
mind.
when
Never
we
mind.
get there.
All right. Okay.
Okay, another decision. Did you guys find your girlfriend or ex-girlfriend?
No.
no.
She's it's towards the later part of the game, but she has a disease just like Morgan does, where it's like a crippling disorder where I forget, if you don't take this medicine on the regular, it basically
Wait,
cripples you.
the Russian chick? Because there's the Russian person that you have to save.
Or you have to go get the medicine, correct?
Yeah.
That's your girlfriend.
Really?
Yeah.
She's
Your ex?
way older than Morgan.
What's so wrong with that?
got a thing for old Russian
maybe,
chick.
And she's one of the operators at the end.
maybe he's great.
One of the
Russian.
operators.
Operator.
Yes. She's
Oh,
one
yes.
of the operators at the end.
Yes, which I think we should say that whole conversation.
Okay,
for like the
I
very
am.
end.
I'm just stating we've now passed over 3 characters that were operators at the end.
Yes.
Yep.
Let's talk about the Daniel show storyline as
Danielle.
well. Daniel. God damn it.
Well, I wanted to know if it was different because you played a female. Is it Daniel?
No, it's
Is it
Danielle.
like a male gay couple?
No. One of the other good or bad things, sorry, with your girlfriend, you can go either retrieve the medicine or kind of let her die.
Jesus. Right.
I'm a terrible person. They would have probably. Yeah, we'll talk about the ending that I would have gotten if I got there. I also would have killed them all. So it's just
You're efficient, Clark.
Actually,
I'm
sorry.
efficient.
So I wanted to briefly talk about 2 of the missions that you missed out on, which are 2 additional missions to add like good points or bad points. So if you save Dayo Igwe, the one dude you left die in the container.
I didn't leave him die. I accidentally killed him. It's a little different. I was going to try to save him.
No, he murdered him. That's what happened.
Hang on.
I
Hang on.
accidentally murdered
Is he
him.
the guy that's in the atrium or no? Who's the guy that's in the atrium with the telepath?
The atrium? You mean the cafeteria?
No, not the cafeteria.
You mean the Arboretum?
I wanted to-
sorry, not the atrium. You're right. Yeah, that one. I tried to
don't
save
think
him, but
that's him.
Okay, so I don't know this guy that got sucked out of into space. I don't know where that is. I don't remember that one.
You have to be outside at one point.
Okay.
Yeah,
And you
I
get
think
the-
it's like
the
right
call.
after you leave the guts area.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And then you find you're about to enter this place, and then you get a radio broadcast. Hey, I'm out in space. Please help me.
Oh, I
Yeah. It
ignored
immediately starts a timer.
that. I ignored that.
You ignored it?
I think I ignored
So he would have been dead.
Yep.
Okay.
So he sends you on a retrieval mission later in the game, all about saving culture. There was like this composer that was on board, and if you don't recover this music that he wrote, that nobody else in the world will ever hear it again because it was only made on the space station. And then if you save your girlfriend, you find out her father was one of the inmates on the ship, and you got to go retrieve information as to what happened. And because Morgan was a scientist, she used her father in a science experiment with the mimics. And you can either give her that information or withhold it, which another like choice. Do you give up that information or do you lie about it, essentially? So there's like these weird morality like
Wow,
questions within the game that's just like crazy. And then I think the last big one is the Daniel show. No, I'm just kidding. It's Danielle's show and the Abigail Faye storyline involving the cook. Did you guys come into contact with that one?
Yeah. So I came into contact with the cook. I didn't finish the storyline though.
Okay.
I just was getting pissed off that he kept trapping things.
Oh, true.
Anytime I'd set off a trap, he'd be like, like whatever the fucking fat slob would say.
So wait,
exactly what he
that's
sounded
not part
like.
of the main quest, right? You just have to get the samples, the audio samples, and then move on, right?
Essentially, yes.
Yeah, okay.
It's one of those side quests.
Because I know them from. I needed to collect the samples, and I went to their rooms or where they stay. But there's the telepath and all those people and the cook, and I was just like, forget this. I just moved on after I got all the stuff I needed.
Yeah, the cook's a fucking bastard.
And again,
Does that resolve?
Yes, it does. Did you find Danielle? Like, did you tap on the glass and she
yeah,
comes up
yeah.
to the glass?
Well, no,
She's
it wasn't
outside
Danielle.
the space station.
That wasn't Danielle. It was the other one. Danielle's dead.
No, Abigail's dead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Abigail. Sorry. Yeah,
Yes.
Abigail's dead.
Danielle is the one, and she's outside the space station, and she's basically just chilling out there until her oxygen runs out. She essentially kills herself. But she contacts you through the glass of the space station and basically tells you the story. She was in love with Abigail, and you find that out through the audio clips as you're gathering them around the ship. The cook...
Oh, which is all based around D&D, which I love.
Oh yeah, they're
yes.
in the same group.
How many did you guys find all the character sheets? There's like
I didn't find all of them. I found like 5 of the 8. I think there's 8, right?
I think so, but some of them are duplicates, just like different levels.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because I think there was 4 characters in that party. One was like the DM, and then 4 players.
What was the name? Didn't they have a name for the?
It was like some spoofy game, I feel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you get the treasure?
Yes, I did. It's gross. Did you
cheated.
You cheated.
Yeah.
They
and I never installed the chipset because it's a negative chipset.
It's a negative chipset. So she set up this puzzle in the D&D game.
Hang on a second.
There's like treasure maps.
We should probably finish the Danielle thing
Yeah,
first and then come back to this. So the Danielle show, to sum it up, you're basically following the cook around the base to a couple different locations. You get sidetracked with a couple traps that he lays, but ultimately you corner him. So there's this tracking device where you can track the people throughout the game. You can finally, I forget, you have to like activate his bracelet, which everybody has on the ship. It's the way you like track people down. You activate his bracelet. He's using somebody else's identity. So you can't just like search the cook or anything. So you have to find out what his identity is, track him, and then you finally corner him. And he's in one of the escape pods. He's like, oh, I found a working escape pod. Come with me, or something like that. You can either kill him there, and that's really the only way to complete that quest, is once he's dead. Because I believe Danielle is waiting for some like confirmation that he's like murdered or anything.
Yeah, she wants you to avenge her girlfriend because he killed her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the cook killed.
He killed quite a few people, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like a serial killer.
I actually did not finish the quest line because I didn't kill him. I just stunned him and just left him there. I was going for the achievement of not killing a single human as well. So I just stunned him so that he couldn't do any more harm and just left him. So that was actually the only quest I didn't complete in the game.
So if you stunned him, wouldn't he be dead then?
Unconscious.
But it ties in. So talking about the D&D things, I wanted to tailor it back to that. So if you complete this quest, like she actually made this quest for all the characters, and it's one of the longest quests in the game. You got to find these like secret numbers based on these like or hand drawn maps. Oh, it's pain in the ass trying to track down all these secret numbers. If you cheat and look up the code online, it'll actually give you a negative item.
So the game knows if you've gone to these locations and done everything. Like it has like hidden checks.
Oh.
And if you just walk up to, I guess, the final spot and put the code in, it knows that you didn't go through
or you
the
could
steps.
hack it essentially as well.
Right.
So you could have cheated that way. So yeah, if you do the negative one, your flashlight or the battery runs out quicker. You get less of a return on your what do they call it? Your recycling.
Your materials.
There's something else. I think you do less damage or less stamina with the. I forget.
For how long?
Permanently, as long as you have the chipset on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed the chipset part.
But essentially, it boosts all those attributes if you go through the whole quest line.
Check that out.
Yeah. That was the longest quest, I feel, in the game, because you have to search fucking everywhere.
How pissed would you be doing pretty much most of it and then just say, oh, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to look up the numbers, and then you just get kicked in the dick
I mean, every
anyway.
time like you look up one of those things, there's big warnings like all over. They're just like, just
don't
do the quest.
Don't do it, yeah.
But that also kind of ties in. So there's like D&D subplot. There's like little stories of, I don't know if you found the scraps of paper with like proposals written on them. This guy was trying to
that I found.
ask this girl to marry him. There's, I don't know, these like little love plots like Danielle and Abigail and your own girlfriend in the game. Did you guys read the emails where there was this whole underground Nerf war going on?
Yep.
Yeah.
The Huntress.
Yeah,
stuff.
I thought that was like a cool like there's these little plots that are crafted into the game in such a neat way that just like makes these characters come alive.
Does the Nerf bow ever become relevant?
Yes.
I've used it.
Do you have to like fully upgrade it?
No, there's doors in the game that you can only unlock with the Nerf gun.
So there's a window and a locked door. And what you do is you break the window with your wrench, and then you can line up the shot on the actual computer screen like you're in there, and you just push unlock the door, and you shoot, and it unlocks the door, and the door opens.
What? I didn't even
Yes.
think of that.
Yeah.
I kept recycling the ones that I was finding, though.
Got it.
Because I was like, is this practical against an enemy? No. Okay, great.
Well, yeah, but that's basically what it's there for, as far as I know.
Yeah,
If there's anything else,
I mean, you can use it as like distractions as well. Like we'll talk about that when we get in the game.
I didn't do a stealth run.
No. Okay, let me pose out some questions, knowing everything that we went over. So when it comes to Alex, we didn't really talk about Alex too much. He's almost like the villain or antagonist for a good chunk of the game. Like he's shutting down your
proposed to be the antagonist.
Exactly. And that's
yeah.
what I wanted to get to. Is he following Morgan's orders, or is he manipulating Morgan? And you really kind of have to make that decision yourself, because you don't know which Morgan he's catering to. Is it his sibling?
Did you just ask a question to yourself and then answer it?
No, I'm still posing questions
All
here.
right, just wanted to make sure.
It's like is he catering to like his sibling or like a fellow scientist? Like, what are his motivations at this point, essentially?
Personally, I think at the onset of everything, like 3 years before Morgan does all of the neuromod swapping and things like that, I think they had their exit strategy. And then as Morgan develops, I think that's where January comes in. And at one point, he decides that, no, I need to blow everything up. And I think that's what... I think Alex is honestly telling the truth the entire game. But you're so quickly led to believe January because it's you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But it's not even the same you. If you really think about it, it's not even the same you from when you created January. Because you don't like wake up and then create January. January could be 2 years old.
True.
You could be back around to Alex's point of view, but you program January to kind of come in and intercept. So like if you really think about it scientifically, where you have like a control, you know what I mean?
There is no control.
There's no control. The only and then the control becomes this operator, because it's the only thing that's getting to you every single time, and it's something that from an altered state. So you have this false control, and I think that's like really what drives your new character. Is you have this false control kind of pushing you to do its objectives, not necessarily what your own objectives are. Because I found myself a lot of the time not agreeing with January, but I was like, I have to drive the story. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I thought that was like an interesting little tidbit.
Like for a long time, I was like, oh, Alex is a double crosser. And then the more you learn about, and I wanted to tie this in too, the reason they named the character Morgan You is to make it immersive. It's you. It was something that they discussed.
Well, yeah.
So
So
it's corny, but it's like
it's a double actually, because Alex named him with the last name so that as a human being you have an association with another human being because of the ending of the game.
yes.
I feel like we need to talk about the ending of the game, and then we can get more into your questions, because
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
that's
want
fine.
to dance around the ending of the game anymore.
Okay. So there's the ending, and then there's the ending.
Right.
So okay, like
There's the Matrix.
yeah, there you go.
There's the
kind of,
Matrix.
yeah.
You're not in the
So the first ending, you either contain the problem with the
No way. Well,
the-
you
no
destroy
way,
the
yeah.
Typhon. You don't really contain
you
it.
save the
destroy
station,
the Typhon.
but you
yes, or you blow up the station, or you grab an escape pod and jet out of there.
early,
Yes,
which is what I did. So I'll just talk about that very briefly.
sure, go for it.
So you go up to the escape pod, and Alex shoots you a message and is like, please don't do this. Like, it's not worth it. Like, I need you here. And that message, like, once you discover the ending, when he's like, no, please, like, I need you here. Don't do this. You get in and you fly off and you get the first screen from the true ending, only a little altered, where it says V for version 3.1, and you hear Alex being like, this isn't the one. We failed. And then you hear Morgan's girlfriend say, start over. And then you're back on Talos. But that's the end. That's the ending that I got immediately. And I was like, cool. Morgan's fake.
Time to look online.
And then it would be hard
Yeah,
for you to continue to play.
I couldn't. Like, I was like, okay, cool. There's a hidden ending here that's going to make a lot of the stuff that I'm about to do meaningless, and we'll get into this, the gameplay, but I started not having fun with the game. I'll explain why.
So I went the route of activating the null wave.
Oh, me too.
So essentially, you kill all the Typhon, because basically all the orange matter that's kind of going through
The Weaver, the Coral. That's what it's
Coral.
called.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They relate it
guts.
to what the hell, like synapses, like this,
Yeah,
or
inside
this
the
giant
brain.
like hive mind. Essentially, that's how they communicate to one another. So you essentially destroy basically that entity, the coral, and then basically they show the station from afar while this big wave goes off.
And then it disappears. It just goes away.
It just
essentially.
dissipates.
And then you wake up in a chair.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I believe that's what pretty much happened. There wasn't really
Yeah.
much else to that. I think you just wake up in a chair.
Yeah, and the other ending is you leave.
Yes.
And you're like, it's weird. I keep having this dream. Both endings then go to the scene that Harry's about to describe.
Yes. And you wake up in a chair. Alex is standing in front of you, and he's explaining.
And the 4 operators.
Yes.
Hovering right there.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, I'm going to explain the scene, and then we got some serious questions to dissect here. So, Alex turns you around, shows you these screens that the aliens have taken over the world, and that you were one of these aliens, and that you were in a
Simulation.
simulation to decide. So they explained, like, we've been trying to adapt your technology for us, but now we're trying to reverse that and see if we can put the best of humans into the Typhon. So it's like kind of like a crossover to try to, I guess, come to terms with one another's race.
Huh.
Because we lost.
Yes. Because they show you the world
Yes.
with all of the coral all over it.
And then, so they go in by operator, which is reflective of Danielle, your girlfriend.
Doll.
Who?
Doll.
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 Oh, yes, you're right.
And
Or Dio Igwe.
No. Igwe, and it's also Doll.
I don't know who that is.
General Doll, the Russian general.
A guy?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
He pilots the shuttle.
Sorry, I totally skipped over that one. Wow.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
totally forget.
Maybe you didn't see all the game.
But then they grade you based on your decisions throughout the game.
Yes.
And they're like,
Empathetic, not empathetic, or...
essentially, and then they're like, oh, well, you went and you saved that piece of culture that I requested that you do. It shows that you care about the integrity of one's culture. And they go through all these things in the grade. Did you pass or did you fail? And then Alex is like, we're going to give you the decision. And then 2 options pop up on the screen.
Right.
Attack or shake one's hand. And then it basically plays out.
Yeah, you either shake hands and you reach out with a black, oozy hand.
Not for me.
It was human?
Listen, you reach out originally with a black, oozy
Okay.
hand, and then it turns to humans. Like back here is oozy, and then it slowly turns into human skin.
No, only for one playthrough. And it's because I didn't I didn't use any neuromods on alien abilities.
I played the same way. It's so... Okay, we'll get into it.
I didn't use any alien abilities either.
Yes, I only bought human abilities, so my hand turned into a human hand. But if you buy any alien, or if you upgrade any neuromods into the alien
Typhon.
abilities, the hand stays black
Okay.
for that scene.
I didn't see that. And I watched like a video that has all the endings. All of them had at least a little black here, and it slowly becomes human flesh.
So, okay, I guess the question is, did these events actually happen? Was this simulation based on Morgan's life?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Is what I.
Well,
is what
I mean, he even says it. He says we did this simulation based on Morgan's memories.
That's what he says to the alien, to get in the alien's mind. Now, here's
Okay, so you're going deeper than face value.
Yes, I am going, like, just an possible interpretation. I'm not saying it's 100% correct, but the footage on the TV showing that the aliens took over the planet, was that falsified to give false courage to that alien? Maybe trying to display to the alien, like, hey, we won. Should I lash out because I'm on the winning side? You know, just to try to get in the head a little bit more. Like, how much of this...
It's a hell of a risk to take.
Yeah, exactly. Or are you still in a simulation? Why would Alex risk his life by going up to the alien?
Harry, this is a simulation.
Actually,
A dream within a dream within a dream. What are you going to say?
No, I was going to say a lot of scientists believe that we are living in a simulation, but that's a different topic of conversation.
Okay, fringe scientists.
Woo! You're a flat earther, aren't you, Harry?
No, fuck that.
The Earth is round in this simulation.
I'm just saying, I think there's, like, and I'm not saying you have to take one interpretation. I'm just saying they
Sure.
left room for...
Which is the mark of a good storyteller.
I like the many possibilities that you can take the ending there. It's like, who knows if the aliens actually won, or...
It's not like it's giving you an actual definitive answer. It's pretty much, what do you think actually happened?
I just want to say that I kind of like main quested it, like right to the end. Like I had my fun, you know, getting immersed and like reading all the emails, and then I was like, okay, it's time for me to just make this happen. So when it came for me to be judged by the floating desktops, I was like, oh shit, I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
It's like,
Okay.
Missed that one.
Wait, did they tell you that you failed? Did they kill you? Because that's another possible ending.
Yeah. The way they say, well, because he says like, would you have saved them, or would you save him, or whatever. He poses the question to the
Operators.
to the operators. Yeah.
Did you get the option to shake or kill them all at the
I
end?
thought I did. I thought I shook his hand. Yeah.
Oh, well,
So
then they judged you enough that...
Oh, right.
Because there
the
is...
empathy was, yeah. Maybe
there
that was
is an
enough.
ending where they're just like, this is a bad one, we failed. And then you see the
So you get
start
all the
over.
way to the...
So here's the
okay.
crazy thing. In the escape pod ending, it's the same fucking audio. It's just you don't get any visual into the room. You get that weird static that you get at the beginning, and then it just says the audio instead of getting into the room. And I was headed for that anyway. Getting into that room and seeing the four operators in the end, that to me was enough to just go check it out on YouTube, the ending. But like, because I knew where I was going at that point.
Well, let's disguise ourselves as a mug and hop on into
Sit
gameplay.
and wait for gameplay.
I want to be a stool.
You are a stool.
Saw that one coming.
Bird. Bird.
Gameplay.
All right, guys, we're talking gameplay.
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 Bioshock Light.
Emphasis on light.
You think it's light?
Yes. I think it's a very light game.
I think the mechanics are
Okay,
just as free.
You need to clarify for me. I don't know
So
what you mean.
there are some cool aspects to the gameplay in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like the glue cannon is awesome, and we'll get into that. I actually had a problem with some of the gameplay.
Okay.
Now, also, full warning, I didn't play with the Typhon stuff, and I actually regret it because I think I would have enjoyed the game more in general. But Ralph and I had talked about this before the podcast, and the threat of being killed by turrets all the time, although towards the end of the game, all the turrets are fucking dead anyway.
That's true. After a certain point, they're broken.
I started noticing that too, and I was like, fuck, I'm just like too far gone now. I wasted fucking neuromods. I really started to feel like the gameplay droned on, and I didn't think there was enough variation in the weapons to be anything meaningful other than the glue cannon.
That might be our own fault.
No, the weapons in general. So if there is a means to play this game where you don't have, or you're not using the Typhon powers, if they're going to reward you with something different than the norm for doing that, the game still, at its core, needs to be a little more interesting than what I personally felt it was. I don't think that the guns are really interesting. They, like the upgrade path, it's like, oh, another tick of damage, or, oh, an extra bullet in the clip. nothing spectacular where it's like, oh, this kills in one fucking shot now, or anything like that. Like, I didn't see any.
Okay,
it's like
okay,
I
wait a
didn't see
minute, wait,
wasn't
wait.
enough. Yeah.
I see what you're saying now when I said Bioshock Light. So when you think of the original Bioshock, you've got the pistol, the shotgun, the machine gun, you've got the crossbow, you've got the different flames, you got the different elements you can shoot, you've got the rocket launch, you got all these weapons.
Right, and that allows you to enjoy and indulge however you want with the other aspects of the game. I think because that is so shallow, then to only do the human side, which is, okay, let's be honest, if you're just going with the human neuromods, kind of boring. Hacking, repairing, being able to lift heavy shit, not that exciting.
It's kind of basic.
Exactly. And I felt like on those mechanics, those combined mechanics, I don't think the gameplay was anything stellar. Glue gun, fun. Some of the aspects of being able to hack terminals and stuff, fun, but it's been done. Like, that's a tired, tried and true Bethesda thing, specifically Bethesda thing. And if Bethesda had any influence in the game, this stuff is in there. And I thought the enemies were kind of interesting, but at first, but after a while, you're just like, okay,
This one's electricity. This
is there
one's fire.
going to be anything? One question I did have for you guys: did anyone kill the nightmare?
I've killed about 8 nightmares.
So
so it doesn't. It's not. There's not just one.
There's not just one.
It's on a 30-minute timer. I looked up. So if you evade it, it's gone for 20 minutes. If you kill it, it's gone for 10. I'm sorry, for 30.
Oh, that's
so there's no real benefit to killing it. You just evade it,
yeah,
and then it's gone for 20. You said you killed 8 of them, Harry?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and again, I don't feel like that was too incredible. And I think the most powerful weapon in the game was like the Q-beam, if you had enough charges for it. But like to take out a nightmare, you needed almost 400 fucking rounds in it.
I just upgraded the shotgun.
Yeah, I used the shotgun. Like, that was like my main bread and butter.
Yeah.
I got the shotgun to like god tier. Especially so the one human ability is the time slowing down one.
Yeah.
Oh,
you can
right.
slow it down up to like 15 seconds. If you slow that down, you have the shotgun like max. All you go is like zoom right up to their head and pull the trigger. It's like 1 or maybe 2 shots to kill like anything.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, it's like, that's just, I don't know, it just seems bland to me. I thought the core shooter aspect of the game was bland.
Okay.
I would agree. So I like the gameplay in general of this game. I thought it gave a lot of variety with like exploring and all that. I think the combat is on the weak side.
Yeah.
I think that
Yes.
that's one of the game's weakest elements, the combat.
Having said that, I do want to say that there were, and the more that we talk about this, I start to realize that it took a lot of different things from different games and threw it in a blender here, because the Bioshock stuff to me was like the wrench, the shotgun, the setting, and the way that the setting is laid out, and how everything just kind of looks like. Obviously, there weren't any, people going crazy and like attacking us and singing little lullabies because
Isn't
the
there a
enemies
wrench
are...
in Bioshock too?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
The wrench. So I have to say this real quick. What's funny is System Shock was made, and then System Shock 2 was made, and those 2 games are set in space. And then as like a pseudo-sequel to System Shock, they made Bioshock, and now we've got Prey, which is not related at all, but you can clearly see the influences, and it's almost like Prey is a spiritual successor to System Shock through Bioshock, if that makes sense. It's just kind of weird. But I wanted to say that scanning the enemies made me think of like Metroid Prime. I don't know if you guys played
Yeah,
Metroid
kind
Prime.
of. Yeah.
It's a little bit quicker and a little more interesting because you can scan everything in that game and it's boring as hell. Like if you walk up to like a symbol or whatever, you sit there and you scan it, and then it gives you a little blurb. And there's actually not achievements, but you get 100% completion for that game by scanning everything in the game, which takes forever. We already mentioned Deus Ex and the computers and how you interact with those.
Oh, there is actually one weapon that I just thought of that I actually thought was innovative. Well, maybe not innovative, but one that I actually enjoyed using.
Good.
The recycler grenade. That shit was awesome.
Oh, where you would
You throw
it's
it
like
and
a
it
mini.
just pops everything into material. I thought that was really cool. It's a really easy way if you needed a bunch of material and you could like see stuff like, oh, there's like a closet full of bullshit. You just throw one down.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I did want to get into the whole recycling and crafting section of the gameplay, which I love crafting when it comes to any kind of game, and I thought that this one was really different and neat, and I kind of thought it was inspired partially by Minecraft, where if you want to create something, you have to put the materials that you need in a box, basically in a certain way to make it. Like if you want to make a pickaxe, you have to put a block, like 4 blocks of, or however many blocks of iron, and then some blocks of wood, and ta-da, you've got a pickaxe. But with this, you just put like the different materials you need, like organic, metal,
Exotic.
Yeah, there's exotic material. Oh wait, no, I guess it was
Exotic material.
organic material, what have you, to make shotgun shells, and it does it all right there. I loved filling my inventory, going to a recycler, dumping all the garbage, getting what I needed, making what I could, and moving on and doing it again. No, you're good. I liked the way that was used in this game and the way that it's created. I just like the system.
No, and just in support of that, because it's one of the games where you can actually pick up everything and there's some sort of use for it. I mean, where you can recycle it basically to be able to get like different materials and such. Because I just think of something like to reference like Fallout. You can pick up cans or some other stuff. There's really nothing to it. It's just there taking up space for no reason.
Taking up weight on your back.
Yeah.
And you're only selling it for a couple caps.
Yeah, not really getting much out of that, where I can actually take, some broken materials or something else, pop it in the recycler, and actually have it be useful to me to apply to something else.
Now, at the same time, I did catch myself going into everyone's quarters and picking up everything that I could, including and there was just this one shot where there was a desk and like a tissue box and then all the crumpled paper on the floor, and I was like, why am I'm in space trying to stop this, and here I am collecting someone's like scrap paper to throw in a recycler. It was just kind of like, what? How did I get here? Why am I doing this?
Speaking of scrap paper, did you get to the room that there was pieces of paper on everything that said "not a mimic"? Not a mimic.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought that was kind of
the
like
notes.
it was
the sticky notes.
interesting. It was
Sticky notes.
Yeah, exactly.
That room is a highlight. I would say.
Not a mimic. Not a mimic.
It's just dark when you think about not to tie it back
The
into the
paranoia.
story, but somebody in that room just testing each item one at a time because they're freaked the fuck out.
You know what's funny? One of the notes in that room is a mimic.
The irony.
I must have forgot about that.
It says not a mimic. Oh shit, a mimic!
No. So I walked up to, I think it was maybe it might have been one of the beakers, like the beaker sets.
Oh yeah.
I walked up to it and I saw there were 2 notes on it. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. I was like, oh god, kill it with fire.
Sorry, before we get too far away, because I know you were making the comparisons to Bioshock. Some of the other ones, just having the turrets in the game. I know turrets were a big thing of Bioshock, where you can just kind of make them, upgrade them. Also, the mini game, the unlocking door mini game. There was a mini game to unlock doors in this game as well.
To me, it's really clear that this is Bioshock in space, or an attempt at it, or an homage to it. And then they threw other gameplay elements. And you could even say that the scanning is like the camera in Bioshock. I didn't even think of that.
Oh, yeah, true.
Because as you do that, you gain more.
There's a benefit to it on a very basic level.
More of the abilities. It's not like you gain a percentage against attacking them, or you get a buff to attack that type based on how much research.
Was anyone actually scared by the game at any time?
Maybe the first or second.
I jumped a couple times, definitely.
I think in the very beginning it had a darker feel.
Yeah.
And then it just became normal.
Yeah,
it
well,
wasn't then.
Yeah, I think it started to establish right off the bat where you didn't know where enemies were going to come from, and you're just walking down a hallway, and then all of a sudden the chair just turns into a mimic and starts. I don't know. I think the really fast, rapid movement kind of threw it off right in the beginning, because it took a little bit of time to get used to following them to be able to kind of kill them, because it would just scatter off to the side, and then it goes around the corner. I'm like, fuck, where'd this thing go? And then I'm trying to slowly peek around, and all of a sudden, mimic! I'm like, no. But then it starts to get, you start to get used to it. So you're like, all right, something's probably going to pop out. Blah, blah. All right, there it is. Shotgun.
So I just thought of this, but once you get the scanner, I would sort of enter a room and do the warning scan, which is like
yeah.
your warning shot from Silent Hill. It was Silent Hill, wasn't it? Every room you'd enter, boom, warning shot. Yeah, you enter a new room. The first thing you do is like crouch and scan, look around.
Yeah, well, I put the one ability on the helmet that it'll reveal any hidden mimics.
Right. Yeah, me too.
That was like a must-have as soon as you unlock that
Yeah,
that
really.
icon. What were they called? Like chipsets? Is that what they were?
Yeah,
that
there's
sounds right.
chipsets.
So since we're talking about that, I wanted
hold
to
on real
Oh
quick.
yeah,
I still on the scariness of
Sure.
the game. I had two moments. One was the note, and it wasn't so much that I was like scared, like that I jumped, but it was like one of those. It didn't cross my mind. I saw like the whole like not a mimic, not a mimic, not a mimic thing, and then I walked up and saw the two, and I was like, why would they? Oh yeah, right. Like why would they label that twice? Oh shit! Like and then mimic. The first time you get the silenced pistol, I don't know where you guys were, but I broke into the one room where there's the dead person and there's the pistol on the ground right in front of them. You can kind of see it. It's like right near your room.
I think I know what you mean. Yeah.
I think that's a setup room
Yes.
because you go down to reach for the gun and it's a mimic. And then the actual pistol is at their feet. But this one's like right at their hands. That scared me. Like I was like, all right, I got this. Oh god! Like but yeah, that's the only two times that I was like truly scared. I was like freaked out and just kind of weirded out, and like I would get annoyed by things. I think the most annoying enemy in this game was the fucking crystoids or the crystal.
Oh, fucking the radiation.
Yeah.
Fucking thing.
Oh, like
Yeah.
the nest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you had to like throw items towards them that they would attract to kind
Yeah.
of blow up on.
You know what was really good for taking them out? The glue cannon.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you just shoot it once, it would explode. You shoot it again, they all kind of glom to it, and then you shoot it again, and it crushes a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I remember them mostly in the guts.
Yep.
That's
That
right, a
was
ton of them.
that was a
Now let's
big,
talk about movement when you're in zero gravity.
Okay.
That was wonky.
Yes. And it was very disorienting at times.
I mean, I think it's meant to be disorienting
Yes.
in a way. I'm sure it would be very disorienting to actually step out into 0G the first couple of times. I would always end up flying just under the thing that I was trying to get to. I feel like every time, be like, oh, I'm going to go get that keypad, and I run into the post underneath it. Like fuck. Like, all right, I gotta like move up the wall, press the fucking buttons, get through the door. Like, yeah, that was something that like really annoyed me. Was like, or did you ever go too fast and then hit something? And you're like, oh, cool, half health, and I have like fucking chrysalids on my ass. I'm screwed.
I didn't think it was that bad. I actually kind of enjoyed it. And I liked the part where there's like, it's not a reactor, but it's a thing it's emitting like a wave, and you have to go in. And there's a body in there. Don't you have to pick up like a key card from him or something and get out before the blast?
You mean the
gets
hard
you?
drive?
Hard drive? Okay.
Yeah. It's like the first time that you actually have to fight a weaver, I believe. Well, you don't have to, but there's like a weaver, and you have to go through the coral. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I think
There's like a
it's
server
the
room where you have to go
coral.
grab
Yeah.
the hard drive, and then you have to actually slot it into the
Oh, I remember that.
the machine. That was annoying to do in 0G.
I threw a lot of recycler charges in that room.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I was just throwing them at the weavers and shit.
This is a smart move.
Sorry, to get back to the scary element, the one thing that really freaked me out is the first nightmare I encountered. I was on the elevator.
Yeah.
It was reaching through the elevator to come and get me.
Holy crap.
And it was
Oh,
freaking
God.
me the fuck out because I didn't, like, this thing was fucking monstrous. The first one I saw, because there's different forms of it. Some of them are the tall ones. Some are like these big, almost like a bull or like a giant dog kind of thing that charges at you. Like,
Grim.
there's different variations of it, but the tall, lanky one freaked me out, and its face was all like distorted, and it was reaching through the walls to get me. Like, oh, it was
It was
freaky
a
as-
nightmare.
Ah.
It was aptly named.
Yes, no, that one creeped me out and killed me a couple times too.
Yeah, I got killed several times from the first one, and then what I did was I triggered it, went back down the elevator,
Triggered.
and just like stood outside the elevator and looked up, and I could see its icon there, and the timer still went, and then it was gone, and I was like, okay.
Are they only in the atrium in the lobby?
No, I encounter them almost every place in the ship.
I'm sorry. It's not the atrium. I made that mistake earlier. What is it called?
The Arboretum.
Thank you.
Arboretum.
Yeah. No, I encountered them almost everywhere.
I seem to only ever encounter them in the Arboretum. I spent a lot of the too much time at one point. I was trying to figure out a way to make it the easiest path to my next objective, so I would end up going out on the outside of the spaceship and flying around. I was like, less enemies.
Well, that's the thing.
Did
That's
you
invalid.
did you guys have the? I had the chipset that allows you to go faster in
The
zero
booster,
G.
yeah.
The booster. Man, when you're going full throttle at like 14 kilometers an hour, you're just like, you hit something, you're like, fuck, half my health.
I didn't get that chipset.
Oh yeah, dude. It
I was capped at 10 the whole game.
It allows you to go to like 14, and you're just like fucking.
You're really flying there,
You're
man.
flying. Dude. I almost killed myself trying to rescue Igwe.
I'll save.
No, seriously. I was like, oh, he's out there. I was in the hangar where
Full
you have
impulse
to
immediately.
So here's the fucked up thing. I was in the hangar, didn't see that terminal in the corner, flew out, I hit it, and I was like, oh man, I think that moved. So I flew up behind it and tried to like press the thrusters against it. Like I was like, maybe I'll push it back. Then I opened it and accidentally murdered him. And then, to top it all off, I flew back into the spot, found the terminal, and was like, oh, better late than never, right? And I brought it in.
Oopsie. Transporting a dead corpse here.
Yeah. So if there was like any life left in Igwe after he was dead, he literally saw me fly off and then return the shuttle.
You son of a bitch.
Question for you guys: did you come across any game-breaking glitches?
I think I fell through the world once. It was really weird. I fell through the world, and then as soon as I hit the 0G, it like turned on 0G and then killed me.
Ah, Harry, anything?
I could have sworn I encountered something, but I can't remember now.
I have a distinct one that I remember where I was fighting the telepath in the swimming pool. Do you know where that?
Oh
was?
yeah,
Yeah,
because that's
And the
where you
locker
go.
Talk to Danielle.
You have to go in there to talk to Danielle. That's
Okay.
where you signal her.
Okay, I didn't do that. I threw a bunch of, I think it was the grenades that turned things to. But
Recycler charge?
But I didn't go back to pick anything up. So I just
Wasted.
Well, hold on. I mean, I had to reload. So I was just like ka-dunk, ka-dunk, ka-dunk. I was just like chucking them
I
at
was
the
hitting the humans that were in there,
the
too.
teleport. Well, they were I mean, I couldn't save them.
No, you can. You can just stun them.
You just kill the
Yeah,
telepath
but I was going for the telepath first. Anyway,
by
And-
throwing grenades.
by throwing grenades.
a very precise art.
Well,
mind
here's
you.
the thing. So, I mean, for that room, there's a hallway, and they were right there, the humans. So I like tried to get in there, and they're just like they just start popping. Like what was I supposed to do? Like go? I didn't even
You
use
have to
it.
stun them before the
I
heads
barely
pop off.
used the stunner. The stunner sucked. All right, fine. I didn't save him.
I never
okay?
used the stunner either.
Dunk, dunk, dunk. I'm throwing grenades at the telepath, and I guess
Apparently, like Fuse from Siege.
I was going to say, he was fusing the hostages.
That sound like
God, could you imagine recycler charges in that game? Oh, it'd be so awesome.
I don't know what
Just
happened,
bullets.
but I was like propelled. I guess I was too close to one of them. Like I was
Oh, you
throwing
got
them at my
sucked
feet.
in.
I didn't get sucked in. I was pushed into the room, like into the locker room, the wall between the swimming pool and the locker room. I was just stuck there. I couldn't get out, and I was like, okay, maybe if I glue the floor, I can jump and get myself out or do whatever. And I just played around with it for about 2 minutes. I was stuck in between dimensions. I don't know which dimension I was in at that point, but I had to reload. I was completely stuck. It's the only time it happened. for
You're
me.
right. That I did get stuck in an area in the engineering place. I was trying to climb up a wall, got stuck in a little crevice, couldn't get out.
Oh, I got stuck one place, and this is something that I'd like to tie into gameplay as well. The fucking loading screens for a minute and 15 seconds anytime I
Nice.
wanted to go through a fucking door.
Yeah, and that gets really. There's a sequence at the end of the game where you're trying to activate an objective, but you have to travel through like 5 zones, and you're literally in some of those zones just to get to another zone.
It's
So
terrible.
it adds just. when they're trying to hit the climax of the game and then you're just hit with tons of loading screens, it's they should have played that out and maybe thought like, hey, maybe we just put this objective like one room away just for excitement purposes and not like it kills the flow of your heightened senses at that point in the game.
Yeah, if they're trying to make it exciting and try to keep you on the edge of your seat, and you're like, all right, I'm going to get...
Hurry up and wait.
Hurry
up and wait.
So one thing that like what I would say like AAA games do when you start to encounter things like that is they will invent a new way towards the end that you're really only going to use once to get from point A to point B. It would have been really cool if at the end, like when the typhoid is like the typhon's attacking, for you to go from the heart, because it starts attacking a lot after you place the null, right? After you place that, it would have been cool if he like ripped it open and you could fly past it, like maybe dodging tendrils, to get back to the office with Alex and January.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. Like, that would have been cool and save you all the loading and bullshit. Like, have one loading screen for that and just, I don't know.
I'm thinking of the biplane at the end of Devil May Cry. It doesn't make... like introduce a new mechanic at the end of the game.
All right.
I'm teasing you. It's just it's funny.
There's bad
There's
examples.
bad examples.
There's bad examples, and there's good examples. Honestly,
what the fuck is that? Why am I flying a biplane?
But had more fun with biplane than running around Talos.
True. The loading screens, we've become really spoiled, I think, when it comes to loading screens.
Yeah, because good developers don't have them.
Right. But for this one, they really stood out to me, and I was just like, I don't get this. Maybe it's because the last couple games I've played have been older games that I'm playing on newer hardware, like playing Fallout 3 now. Like, there are no loading screens. I can't even read the little blurbs that they give you in between transitions because it's just boom, boom, boom. Blood Dragon was like that. It was just like no loading screens at all. So we're really spoiled, but this one, it was bad. It was so bad.
It's terrible.
The only real negative thing I have to say about this game are the loading screens. And if you have it on a decent PC or a stupidly awesome PC, it's probably not anything to even talk about.
No,
but on the PS4, no?
I know. So one of my friends who's a listener was saying that the loading screens are actually pretty bad on PC as well, and I know he has a pretty high high-grade PC. Hi, Daryl.
It's so taxing.
So the last thing I really wanted to talk about with gameplay, the exploration. The one way they cater to your exploring on this on Talos 1 is they have this little system where you can track people using their bracelets, and they basically take you to all these little crevices hidden around the ship. It just really amazed me how many little sections are just hidden in this ship that you'd never discover unless you were searching for these bodies.
Hidden crevices, you say?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry, you derailed me there, but
you got to look for those nooks and crannies.
But it's just like I went for the achievement of locating every body on Talos 1.
I see what you did there.
I'm just making faces at you.
I was like, fuck, what did I say? But no, I did get that achievement. You're allowed to miss, I think, 5 people.
That's
but
not
like,
much of an achievement then.
But I mean, there's like 250 or something total. Jesus.
Got to catch them all. Got to catch them all.
He's licking his lip.
But I mean, like crazy shit. Like there's bodies just floating way out in space. Okay. There's a space shuttle that you can go explore, like an actual space shuttle you can get inside of.
Well, that's something you should have used to navigate at the end of the game.
It would have been cool. Yeah, if it like flew through Talos 1.
Well, okay.
I'll let Devil May Cry.
But I mean, they actually, the space shuttle was transporting more prisoners. There's like 10 dead prisoners on this space shuttle, like just all hovering, floating out in space. But it's just like the craziest things you'd find. Like
Talos Air
was one of the inmates, Nicolas Cage.
Put the bunny back in the box.
I don't know. I was amazed at how many little areas you could explore in this game, and like what it took to actually get to some of these people. And
so the level design is,
I thought
awesome.
It was crazy, and it could just totally be missed if you weren't trying to achieve that. I mean, some of them were crazy. Like I know we were touching on the glue cannon before, but I had to make stairways up a wall
Yeah.
to jump through a ceiling panel, which would then lead to another set of tubes that I had to crawl across, all to get to this one body. But I mean, they usually reward you with like several neuromods, and like did you guys get the neuromod template to make neuromods?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I went nuts on that shit. I
sure
think
you
I
did.
made like 60 or 70 neuromods.
70?
Yeah.
Isn't that enough to unlock everything, pretty much?
Actually, I was looking into I was reading up on the Nightmare. He is triggered based on how many neuromods you have.
Oh, really?
So if I believe anyway, so if you have like less than 30 that you've used, he shows up later. But if you have more than that, boom, he'll show up.
Yeah, I went
Faster.
nuts on neuromods, and I didn't even unlock all the human abilities. And I didn't even touch the alien abilities.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I did want to say that I also like that you can pick up heavy objects based on your strength or what have you. I think, is that a Deus Ex thing as well? That you could move things based on your tiers? Even though it says you can use them in combat, I never did. I don't know if anybody else picked up a speaker and chucked it at somebody.
No.
It's not effective. I had leverage 3 or I had leverage 3.
Yeah.
And you'd pick them up, and if it was a leverage 3 thing and you threw them, you couldn't throw them incredibly far. And when you threw them, if you hit, because like you're throwing this giant thing which has no like, I think a lot of the physics in this game are really good. Throwing things was like really off. I don't know if you noticed that, but like when you throw grenades, it seemed like they were soaring through the air kind of slower than they should have, and things like that. You know what I mean?
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, or they would like bounce like a ridiculous amount, and you're like, what the fuck? I think projectiles from the character was something that they missed on and whiffed pretty badly in the game as well.
Like that coffee cup you tried to throw at a mimic. Whiffed. So did you guys buy copies new?
I did.
Did your shotgun have like a golden like design on it or anything?
Probably a code that
There
I
was a golden pistol.
Yeah, there were like pre-order bonuses or whatever.
No, I got a golden pistol in the game. It's one of the quests you can do.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
It's like a souped up pistol.
The golden gun, you could say.
Actually, it is. That's what they call it, the golden gun.
Is it one hit kills?
I think it's like 1.5x damage over what the normal pistol is.
See,
The pistol's pretty useless, I'd say.
yeah,
Even sneaking.
and like you can so there's all your range. There's all your range in the entire game comes from this fucking pistol.
Because the shotgun's no...
Yeah, the shotgun sucks at anything more than 10 feet away.
If you sneak attack with the pistol, you get a bonus, but it's...
Not that great.
You can fire ridiculously fast, though. I will say that.
Yeah, but it's still like the damage doesn't even compare to the shotgun. I'd rather
think
fire
you
the
just-
shotgun boom boom than the pistol.
Clark's
and go
looking
through
for
the-
an SMG.
I'm looking for something that was like mildly automatic or something that was upgradable in a meaningful way.
And he's not wrong.
None of that shit was even worth the fucking weapon mods. I ended the game with like fucking 15 weapon mods because I was like, this is pointless. And now on to graphics.
The game desperately needs
No, we're on
an
graphics
automatic weapon. It needs like a new age AK-47 or some kind of
Would
Russian.
would a science space station have all this heavy...
Okay, give us a fucking laser weapon then.
Well,
You
aren't
did.
there
You get the
prisoners
Q-beam.
there?
No, but the Q beam, the Q beam, you had to fucking tag something and hit it until it exploded.
If you upgraded it, it explodes rather quickly, though. I will
Okay,
say that.
okay, but here's the thing.
Clark had 25
Here's the
upgrades he
thing.
didn't use.
Here's the thing. It's still not a rapid fire fucking weapon.
It's not satisfying to use, is what he's saying.
No, it's not. You have a bunch of quick things that move very quickly, and you're like, all right. Try killing a mimic with the fucking Q beam.
Fuck no.
Yeah, it's goddamn impossible.
That's what I use the shotgun for.
A mimic?
No.
Oh, yeah, area effect.
a little-
No,
Dude,
you
almost-
use the fucking wrench. You just use the fucking wrench
No,
to
fuck
kill
that.
it.
I got rid of the wrench, like, as soon as I got that shotgun, it was like nothing but the shotgun.
Oh my god, I fucking used the wrench the entire fucking game.
The amount of times I would just sit in front of the that creating machine. I'll make 150 rounds of shotgun shells.
Dude, I would literally sit there and like do the slow motion and just run up and bash the fucking all of the phantoms. Because if you do the slow motion and you run up and you can hit them in the face, they fall down and they can't use any of their powers and you just wail on them with the fucking wrench until they're dead. And you get crits, a guaranteed crit every time they're on the ground. So you're like, boom, 12 damage, 50, 50, 50.
Go to bed.
Go to sleep,
Night, night.
you puddle of tar.
I don't know.
So-
I just found the shotgun extremely satisfying. And it
I
never.
don't
it
even think it was
almost-
satisfying.
It is. The
it never
shotguns
got
are
old
to
for me, to be honest.
Shotguns are satisfying in games.
I don't think this one was.
All right, it's fine. You didn't do any upgrades.
No, the shotgun. hey, the shotgun was the only one that was upgraded.
All right.
And honestly, I was putting my neuromods into hacking and stuff that I didn't have gunsmith up that
Oh,
I could
yeah,
use the weapon upgrades. That's another thing that kind of pissed me off. I had all these fucking weapon upgrades, but I had to use another thing to unlock another thing to unlock another thing.
Standard
No.
video game stuff.
You when you get mods and stuff like that, you're usually able to just put them on in games. You don't have to like upgrade your other shit to be able to mod stuff.
I respectfully disagree. If you see an end game,
Not
you're like,
stuff-
I want to be able to do this.
But not
I have
stuff
to
that
go
you find,
through this.
but not stuff that you find. It's like if you level. Okay, look. If there was a leveling system where you got neuromods and were unlocking skills that way, great. But neuromods, until you like find the recipe and stuff, they're really hard to come by.
True.
And I feel like it literally like I think it bottlenecks the gameplay too harshly. I understand bottlenecking in games because it's important to slow the character down so they don't become too overpowered and the game becomes super easy.
Balance.
But I feel like there's a lack of balance. I feel like to begin the game, and if you're not going with, I feel like there's a way using and unlocking your skills in the game that you can kind of fuck yourself until like
I fuck myself all the time.
okay, but until you find the neuromod,
Yeah, the
Blueprint?
fabrication.
yeah, the fabrication blueprint, you are fucking you
Yes.
are.
It's
Yeah.
survival horror at that point.
Yeah, and I feel like it's too strict
Okay.
for what they were trying to go for. I honestly like the game is the gameplay was fine. It's just I have a lot of complaints about it. And I understand it's more of how I played the game. I feel it's more of how I played the game than the game itself, but if you're, the bottleneck is there if you're trying to do a certain thing and achieve a
Sure,
certain thing
okay.
in the game.
I think this is the perfect time for me to say this quickly.
On the graphics?
That I did not play a stealth run, and maybe what they either wanted you to do is go hard stealth or go hard alien neuromods.
I don't even think
Something
Aggressive. Or
because I was like, I don't want to play stealth for whatever reason this time. I was like, I just give me the shotgun and I'll just put in people's noses and pull the trigger. And
I
that's
don't
what
even think
wanna
the
play.
stealth was that good.
no,
I tried to do a little stealth, and it wasn't
But
working for me.
there are tiers for the stealth to put your neuromods in, and I was like, forget it.
That I understand, but that's one of those things. Like if you start going into the stealth tree, you kind of have to commit to that, especially in the early game, because the neuromods are not coming hot and fast.
Right.
It's a slow burn until you get that blueprint, and you can fuck up and not get that blueprint. It's not like the main story gives it to you. You kind of have to go off a little bit and find it.
That's true.
The main story eventually gives it to you, but it's like Alex's office is when you get the neuromod blueprint, unless you go find it someplace else.
that aside, I still feel the stealth system was poorly developed in this game.
Mhm.
Even if you got the upgrades, I don't think it was a very.
Can you sneak up on a mug?
That is the real question, isn't
Oddly enough, the
Yes.
stealth mechanics are poor in Bioshock as well.
it? I think
They are. Fucking don't at me. Like what?
What?
I agree.
You've never heard that?
I agree. I
Don't
think they
at
were
you.
poorly done in Bioshock as well. I
I
don't
don't,
think.
I don't remember stealth in Bioshock. What are you talking about? That's the other game where I just
there
put
is
the
stealth
shotgun in
in
people's
Bioshock.
noses.
Yeah, but that was satisfying.
I don't think it's a strategy you can use effectively.
I want to go on record and say that I agree with Clark. The game is begging for a submachine gun or something else.
Laser rifle. Give me
Craft it. You have to cross the weapons together to make something that's an automatic laser shotgun.
Give me some range.
Yeah.
Give me some range. That's why I was hoping for the crossbow. That's why I asked about the crossbow earlier in the podcast. Like,
It's the perfect opportunity.
it would have been the best fucking opportunity. Okay, so you get
Oh shit! Think about it. You don't even need to change the design of the weapon that much because you can
You've-
have like a mini what are the bombs that turn things to
Recyclers.
recycler darts? You shoot a recycler dart. You don't even need to change the plastic of the crossbow because you can make the technology light enough to shoot out of the foam dart.
That's what I'm saying. Or like you keep opening these terminals where they're giving you new blueprints.
Yeah.
For the dart gun, it's like, for what? Oh, okay. This gives it extra fucking range and stuff. Great. Where's the one where I upgrade it with a piece of fucking metal and I can shoot a fucking bolt? Even give me like literally give me a classic fucking
Arrow.
Yeah, an arrow or a bolt.
Yeah,
Crossbow.
I gotcha.
But like, give me a bolt and a crossbow. Like that game becomes immensely and also it's silent.
But deadly.
It would fit
Kinda hard to argue.
that one thing would benefit both the stealth gameplay, because then you have a weapon that you can use at range that is going to help that gameplay, and you have a fun ranged weapon. Like, I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
I think I'm floored. I think I agree with Clark.
I'm still gonna have to disagree with both you guys. Like, this environment does not cater to heavy military weapons. It wouldn't be found. It's too much of a risk to the base.
Oh no, wait, Harry's got a good point. If you shoot at a glass window,
You have a gun.
but
you have a gun.
Yeah, but I think they're like security weapons, like for security
so
protocol.
like the bullet just doesn't break a window.
it's transparent.
That a bow wouldn't. Just think about that.
I know, like even the shotgun doesn't make sense on the base. It doesn't. But
all space stations have weapons, though. Like any sci-fi, there's no sci-fi stuff that doesn't have weapons in it.
I feel like
He
the
still hasn't
options
seen
still-
Moon.
Yeah, I just still feel like the options would be limited. Like I don't think.
That's a valid point. That's why I'm saying
I
he's
know,
got to make it. He's got to make it. He's got to craft this weird gun.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like they kept having all these upgrades. Like why isn't there the one that makes the crossbow lethal? That should be a fucking t-shirt. Why isn't there one that makes the crossbow lethal?
Let's do some graphics.
Graphics.
All right, guys, we're talking graphics.
I actually think the game looks fantastic.
They did do a very good job with that. I will give them that.
I'm trying to think. The character like art style reminds me of something. I'm trying to think of what it is. Does it start with a B and end in Bioshock? No, it doesn't.
Well, a Final Fantasy Jock?
I will agree with you. I feel like character models, same art style. Just like maybe
Think so?
like a next gen. Like
Yeah.
a next gen, but that similar feeling art style.
Who here's played Infinite?
I have.
I have too. I think it's more like that than like the original
art
Bioshock. For the character models is what I'm talking about. Think I'm wrong?
By the look on his face, I would say yes.
Because they're kind of cartoony.
Cartoony.
Yeah.
Well, the characters in this weren't that realistic.
I wouldn't call
Picture
him
his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a cartoony fat guy, but like, I don't know. I think they bordered realism more than.
Okay.
I see what you're saying though, Ralph. That's why I said I feel like it's next gen. Like it's more realistic, but it's like almost like it's evolved since then.
Sure.
But I could see where you're coming from. As far as like beauty, like did you guys ever just like travel away from the station out in the 0G
And just
like,
look at it.
look at it and maybe like look up at the moon? Just like, didn't you just want to like just travel out to the moon?
I mean, there were several instances when I was like, wow. And I just stopped and took a minute. And the first time I got to the lobby, and it, very intentionally gets you to look out the windows, for lack of a better term. And you can see that the station has like solar panels that are breaking off and are just floating. That was a wow moment. The title sequence was a wow moment when you see the logos come up in the not the sunrise, in the horizon. The moon, I didn't spend too much time out in 0G, but I gotcha. I know what you mean. I think the game is clearly
Fuck.
Yeah, fact.
fact.
But even when you're floating around when you first get to go out in 0G, because you have to kind of work your way up around to get, I think it was a key card from something, like the particles and the debris that's just kind of floating there. It's just like
Detail.
the detail that's put into it. That was something that I really took notice of and said, wow, that that looks really good right there. It's the smaller details that they actually put into the environment is what I think they really excelled on when it came to the graphics themselves. So the characters not so much, but the environment, that's where I think, they did better with.
Even the enemy models, there wasn't that many different types of enemies.
That's true.
But I feel like a lot of them, especially the mimics, I feel like it's the best looking enemy model in the game.
The mimic?
Yes.
Yeah.
The regular little guy.
Yeah.
Because they're just they're like these little blurs, but you can make out just enough to know that it's this four-legged weird cross that's running across the fucking.
It's just like the way that the movement is for it. It's very eerie, and even the mechanic of them just changing into items, and you could barely tell them apart. You could study them and see a slight discoloration, but in general, they really blend into the environment. I thought it was very well done.
Slippery fuckers too.
Yes.
They're not easy to.
That slow motion came in handy for dealing with them. Now, I did read online, if you look at some of the corners of the maps, they didn't put as much detail. They let some shit go where it'll look kind of glitchy, but it's hidden shit that you wouldn't just see going into a room. You could search out for the unpolished shit in the game. But at face value, I thought it looked fucking amazing. I know I've talked about it before. Anything dealing with space, I love it. It just makes me feel at home just looking at that shit.
The coral, I think, looks incredible when it's just weaved all over an object, and kind of all connected, and again, since I didn't beat the game, but I saw the video of where you have to place the null wave transmitter.
Yeah.
That whole fucking section is just amazing. And then when they show outside of the spaceship when you leave on a shuttle or when you do the null wave, that just looks it's an incredible scene where you just have Earth underneath you, and then the space station, and then the Typhon all around it. It's super nice.
Super nice.
Super nice.
It's a super nice meatball.
I like how the coral spreads throughout the game too. You don't see it anywhere. You just see it in it's in that one chamber, and then it just slowly spreads through the environments that you've already explored, and just there's a little bit more coral now. Then there's a little bit more, and as you're proceeding towards the end of the game, it's fucking everywhere.
It would start to shield enemies too, because you'd be walking through a corridor and there's just tons of coral, especially in the not arboretum.
Arboretum.
Oh yeah, got it. Fuck yeah, the arboretum.
When you're atrium.
No, not the atrium.
Shut up, Ralph.
Shut up, Ralph. No, but when you're walking through the arboretum and there's all of the different, all the pavilions that you have to walk through. When that starts getting filled with all the coral and stuff,
it's actually hard to navigate. It starts to get hard to see in that area.
Well, it starts to completely disorient you, and then there's creatures that are in that, and man, I had a mimic pop and go into that, and I was like, fuck, I lost that. I'm gonna be walking through, I'm gonna see a fucking coffee cup and be like, do you belong here? And get jumped by a fucking mimic.
Speaking of the coral, we didn't touch on this in gameplay, but there's abilities.
Touch on it now.
That you
Whoa.
can
Touch it, Harry.
Whoa.
There's different alien abilities you can use that when you touch the coral, it recharges your magic bar.
Or magic?
Or
Sigh,
whatever.
Yeah. He's talking about I can't have crossbows, but he's talking about fucking magic and space.
You're a wizard.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Harry, you are a wizard.
You're a wizard, Morgan. Alex just comes on the comm. Hey,
Morgan.
you're a wizard, Morgan.
10 points for Gryffindor!
You're a wizard.
Game looks good.
It looks great.
Game looks good.
Game looked good.
Feel good.
I think we could probably move on from here, Harry.
Good.
Let's move into la 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 music. New transitions, the new segment.
La 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 la.
La 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 la.
Music.
So, again, I want to compare it to Mass Effect. When that menu music, or the credit music, played in Mass Effect, I was like, I'm downloading that fucking song. Same thing for this game. Not as good as Mass Effect's closing song, but
All right, good. Because I was about to like, those were fighting words. Because Mass Effect's amazing.
yeah, no, I downloaded that
soundtrack.
shit like immediately.
Yeah.
I was like, that shit's going on my iPad.
Your what?
My iPad.
Your
iPad?
iPod.
No,
Okay,
his
because that could have been
IPID.
interpreted two ways. Because you said it funky.
Your ipid.
My
Your
iPad
iPad.
Nanu.
Oh my god. All right, so
But no, so
iPad
right after that,
Nano.
yes.
yeah.
So right after like that whole crazy ending to the game, they play the song titled "Mind Game."
Mind game. That's what it's called. Okay.
Yes.
Fitting.
I want to say for the music that I liked almost everything that I heard.
Who's the composer?
I don't know.
Ben Crossbones.
Is that a
Well,
real
that's
name?
not a real name.
Oh no, sorry. Wait, I'm sorry. Mick Gordon composed and produced the soundtrack. Previously made. He also worked on the Doom soundtrack.
Oh, okay. I still have to play Doom.
But there's additional music in the game by. Yeah, it's Ben Crossbones. That's what I have Ben Crossbones, Pearsall, and Colantonio.
Yeah. Where'd you find those names?
Colin Toes, you know?
I think he worked on the newest Doom.
Yeah,
not,
I know.
Not
I
classic
know.
Doom.
I'm having fun over here. There was one room, like it was early on in the game where I like heard some music and I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. And as I got closer to the speaker, it got louder, and then I found that there was another speaker not far from me, and you could turn them off or on.
It's all over the station too.
Yeah.
Right, but the first time I came across that room and that experience, I just like turned on both speakers and just like let it do its thing for a couple minutes. It's just simple like notes, but it just sounded so good. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna let this play. That's it. We got to start recording our episodes with video. That's it. You milking a cow over there? Jesus.
using tweezers.
Whoa.
Using tweezers.
Clark.
Always a good time recording.
Shut him down.
I thought the music sounded great. I think that the sound effects were really cool, kind of creepy, but I think they kind of like nailed it.
Yeah, the sound effects for the creatures and the mimics, like,
Yeah.
you could always tell something was going on based on the sounds that you were picking up.
The whispering that they did.
The whisper.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, like when you would like approach the phantoms or whatnot.
So the phantoms that whispered were people that were taken over.
Yep.
So it's not always the phantoms that like the elastic phantom or whatever the fuck, eccentric phantom.
Elastic?
I don't fucking know.
Electric?
Boogie,
It didn't.
boogie,
It wasn't
woogie.
electric though.
I thought there was an electric one.
There is an electric one, but it's not called electric phantom. Yeah, like so the named ones were the ones that would like whisper, and it'd be something from like that person's past.
Someone had been corrupted.
And then also the weird mumbling from the people that were mind controlled was fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And I thought the voice acting was really good too. Like all the calm stuff.
Yeah.
With the exception of Alex. Alex was a little flat, but I think it was because he was trying to be.
He also wasn't a very charismatic person either.
Yeah,
so I
no.
think they
He was
played
fitting
into
the
that.
character. No, you're right. The voice work's good. I don't. The only one that really jumped out at me was the actor, the guy that you release from the you either expose him to the mimic or you release him. I've seen him in a couple movies. We saw him actually in Tomb Raider. He's the main villain in Tomb Raider.
Really?
The same actor, yeah, and his face kind of looks like it,
Oh,
but that like
shit.
changed a couple things. But it and the guy that plays Alex, he's familiar to me, but I can't remember what from. That voice is familiar to me.
It's Don
I'm
Cheadle.
not sure.
It's not Don.
Is it Don Cheadle? Jeff Bridges.
We're in Bonnie Rubble. Trouble.
Let's dissect our final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
I'll start. No, I do see where if I were to have some more free game time that I wouldn't mind going back through and playing, because I do feel like I missed a good chunk of like a lot of the side missions, which was something that, you know, I was appreciative of the game having, because it's not where it's just main story, main story, main story. You can get lost for hours just taking care of, you know, a lot of stuff on the side. That being said, I think the saving grace that really kind of did it for me was the story, because I do feel like with some of the gameplay, it felt like it was a little lacking. It left me wanting more from it, but not enough to deter me from picking up the controller and doing another playthrough or two of the game.
Yeah, Ralph.
I want to say that I think this is like a hidden gem that's just hiding in plain sight. Like nobody's talking about Prey. No one
Like a mimic.
Yeah, right? Wow. This is like an alien species pretending to be a book on a shelf. No, this no one's talking about Prey. It came and went. Unfortunately, no one really picked it up. It's not some big AAA title. I mean, it's being published by Bethesda, but it has not received the praise it deserves, in my opinion. I highly suggest it to anybody who likes science fiction. And if you see it cheap, less than $30 anywhere, pick it up and play it. You won't regret it.
I feel like I got it new for like $20.
Yeah, you can get it for like $20.
You can get it new for 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh.
I ran to the store and got it that one night because I wanted to play it.
Yeah, my copy's used, and I think I got it for 22.
So I can't stress enough, I feel very strongly that this is like a spiritual successor to Bioshock. And, I mean, comparing the two, I think I enjoyed Prey more than Bioshock. Just, I think the environment had a lot to do with it. Like, I'm more into that sci-fi feel.
You mean you don't want to be underwater in an imaginary city in the 1950s?
That was an interesting environment, don't get me wrong. I just felt like this catered more to
60s,
me, specifically.
I gotcha.
And I was just way more invested in the characters in this game, just like the story, the little subplot, like even I really, really enjoyed this game. Like I put in 40 hours, and if it wasn't for other obligations, I would have played a second playthrough.
It's just interesting to me that you don't like open world games, and this is kind of linear, but there's so many branching paths and places you can go, and it's not Grand Theft Auto.
No. And getting back to the open world, like on a scale of like 1 to 10, 1 being linear, 10 being open world, I give this like a 5. It's like a hybrid in between.
Okay.
But I do like the ability to explore the whole station, like, and it really opens up like mid game where you're not on this set path. There's even areas to explore that aren't part of the main storyline.
Right.
That like places you can completely miss if you don't go exploring.
So, I think the game is worth playing. Is it worth beating? Not really. I honestly think that, if you really get tied into the story like Harry did, go for it. If you're not vibing on the gameplay, it doesn't evolve much. So, go Typhon. And that might be a better experience. I'm kind of torn on this game. I like the idea. I like the concept. While
execution.
The execution is where I have a problem with it. I think that the gameplay is a big struggle. And for me, like, I put 15, 16 hours into this game, and I was right there at the finish line, and I just had no fucking desire to beat it. The story at that point had not lost me. I knew what was going on. The idea of having to slog through another 2 hours of the game playing it the way that I was versus seeing the ending of the game, not worth it to me when it got down to brass tacks. So that was just my experience, though.
Cool. All right. Well, that sums it up. Let's do our scores, guys.
The score.
I'll start. I never start.
Go for it. Go ahead and start.
I'm going to give it 1 Typhon giant creature thing out of 1 ending that didn't really have any true consequences.
Ralph, you want to go next?
I think I want to give this an 88.
Really? That high?
Yeah.
I think you guys are all going to rate it high. I feel like I'm the only one that had a bad experience with it.
It's your experience, man.
Steve, what's your score?
I'm a little torn, but I think if I'm going to take every aspect of the game and not just base it off like the 1 or 2 things that I liked and the other couple that were I'm going to give this a C, actually. I mean, I still would play a C again, but I think to give it a fair rating in my own opinion, I'm going to have to go C.
I was going to go with an 8.5, which ties with Silent Hill 1.
Really?
Yeah. I was debating on a 9, but I think I'm going to stick with 8.5.
I think that's a good call.
One thing I wanted to clear this up, too, because this has been bothering me for a while. So the normal Metacritic score, I feel like anything below like a 70 is like considered crap on the mark.
typically.
Wh-
No,
which-
it's not. It's not that it's considered crap. What that means,
It's like a skewed scale, though. You know what I mean?
kind of. It's an aggregate scale.
I'm just saying, like, when I say like an average game, like I mean a 5, because I feel like when I've given games a 5 before, I think people have that mentality of the Metacritic score in their head, and they're like, "Oh man, a 5, that's awful." Like 5 is like my average point. Like anything above that, I would consider a good game. So I just wanted people to consider that when I grade my games. Like 8.5 is like really high on the scale in comparison.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna really get into that, I feel like people actually grade it out of a 1 to a 5, but they use the 10-point scale, and their 1 to 5 is between 5 and 10. I feel like that's the trend now. And that's why I actually think game outlets and people that do reviews like us, when you base it on a 5-point system as opposed to a 10-point system, unless you're really like, look, this is how it is, I feel like that's, like what you're saying, like your 5 is average. To the people that use a 10-point scale, most people use a 7.5 as average.
Yeah, and that's
then
bullshit,
and then a bad game is 5 and a good game is a 10. Why not use a 5-point system?
It is not. It is bullshit.
Right, like you use a 5-point system, A, B, C, D, E, F, or A, B, C, D, E. And Ralph, you use the percentages, but the percentages, that's different. You can get very minute because you're on a 100-point scale. That's that's completely different.
And I can go negatives.
Yeah, and you well no, I'm just saying, like, you don't hold back. Like I haven't seen you give a bad game a base of 5. I've seen you give a bad game a bad score. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I gave myself a 10-point because I thought I'd be limited by like a 5-point. Like I
Right.
wanted to clearly put something on a line with other games that I feel like a 5-point just narrows that window for expression.
It doesn't. It doesn't. People misuse 5 points as well. They say 5-point and then they give something a 3.5. And that's a 10-point scale.
I think you guys have paralysis of the analysis right now.
No, I just wanted to clarify because I just feel like people may have been misinterpreting my scores before. So I just wanted to clear it up a little bit that my 10-point scale is like a true 10-point scale and not
True 10.
A natural 10.
It's not like
Harry's calling out anyone that uses a 10-point scale
It's a nat
inefficiently.
it doesn't have a bias on it, is what I'm saying. It's not skewed. Yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up. So stay tuned. 2 weeks from now, we're going to review Resident Evil 2. Pow, pow, pow.
Pew, pew, pew. Oh, wait, Resi 2's next?
Are we done? Can we stop recording?
I think we're good. Stay tuned till next time.
Next
I'm
Next time,
tired.
Gammon.
Stay tuned for the next comment.
He's not Harry, he's a mimic!
I knew you weren't a coffee mug.
Where's your Nerf crossbow?
All right, I guess we'll end on that note.
Game over. Game over. Game over. Game over. Game over.
Thanks for listening to Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go. Stay up to date on our Facebook at facebook.com/superfunpodcast.